This week we're making
snow globes.
Yep. So you had this set. You got it for Christmas, I think 2 years ago, Sam. And it was to make little snow globes. Super cute. But it was 3 domes. It came with the clay. It's modeling clay, so it's not air dry or polymer. It's the kind that never dries, but it's oil-based, so it would be okay underwater. And then it came with these little characters and a little funnel, and then there's a hole in the bottom. So you put it together, and then you fill it from the hole in the bottom with the funnel, and then you put in the little rubber stopper. And we wanted to try doing a couple different versions. So we've got some pickle jars, and we've got one of these globe-style snow globes. So my original thought was, well, it's winter in the United States. Let's make some cute little snow globes with snow, nice and festive. And then Five Nights at Freddy's
Security Breach.
Yeah, it came out, and Ty's obsession became that again. And she kept showing us videos of Sundrop and Moondrop and was obsessing over them. And then your dad put on a compilation of a bunch of people doing just the daycare part of Security Breach. And so it's running in the background while I'm getting stuff out, prepping, thinking about snow globes. And I'm watching person after person in the ball pit, and suddenly I think that'd be really cute as a snow globe. Sun and moon drop in the ball pit, and then the balls can float around for the snow globe. And Ty liked that idea.
Yeah.
So I made the bodies out of polymer clay. They're so tiny because they had to fit in the opening of the pickle jar. So I printed an image of them all narrow enough to fit through the opening in the pickle jar so that I could just copy over the top of the picture and make everything to scale. I used a lot of Bacon Bond to stick things together. This is actually me working on my snow globe. I am doing one of the Calvin and Hobbes snowmen. So this is the little snowman who's holding his own head and looking at himself and screaming. And he's so cute. And I originally tried to sculpt the head out of Sculpey Ultralight because it's so much lighter. It was going to be supported just on these little wires, but it's too squishy. So I ended up rejecting it eventually and switching it out for some Super Sculpey Original, which is what the pink stuff is. I used the end of a skewer for his little carrot nose. And ultimately, I ended up running the wire all the way through. I stabbed it all the way through the head and then just bent it around. And that seemed to support it a lot better. I used some Bacon Bond to hold it in place. And then Tyler made the heads for Sundrop and Moondrop.
They're just so small. It was hard to get details, but I did my best. So, Sundrop and Moondrop are the daycare attendants at the Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzaplex, which is the area that you roam around in Security Breach. And, well, isn't that a good idea to have
an animatronic watching your kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had had the option, I would have left you with animatronics all the time. What could possibly go wrong?
Sundrop and Moondrop are technically the same animatronic. It's just that Sundrop is out when the lights are on and Moondrop is out when the lights are off.
You don't want the lights to turn off.
Yeah.
They're fun. You like
Yeah. Probably my favorite part about sculpting the heads was just all of the tiny details that I could get in. They were hard to get in, but once it was done, I was like, I did that! As far as character, Sun is my favorite, but as far as design and colors, Moon.
I'm making a mermaid.
Yeah, you're doing an underwater one.
Of course.
I wanted to do beautiful snow, and I'm doing decapitated snowman, evil animatronics, and an ocean. So,
Yeah.
festive winter times. People in Australia will be like, yeah, mermaid, yeah, summertime fun. I love how you sculpted the rocks. Just slicing them off, that subtractive method. Pretty cool.
There's my sketch.
So you sketched it out, and then you were sculpting on top of it so that you made sure you made her small. You've got her sitting on a rock, and there's bubbles around her.
How would you sit underwater?
I think you just sink. If you wanted to sit underwater, you would have to exhale. You'd have to breathe out all the air, and then you'd sink, and then you wouldn't have any air. So that could be a problem.
So right now I'm making the arms. I was rolling out snakes of clay and then stuck on the arms. I'm making the tail.
I love her hair floating in the water. It's so beautiful. So then I was making the castle for Sundrop and Moondrop. Sundrop's entrance is from this castle thing that's floating above the ball pit. And so we kind of recreated it, and it's going to be double-sided so that Sundrop can be on one side and Moondrop can be on the other. We're not going to have it transform because, it's in a jar. So having it transform is tricky when you don't have access to it. Plus it's tiny. And
it's underwater, so
we're just gonna, So we're just gonna turn it around depending on who you want to see. the too friendly one
Or the two not friendly one.
So to make the hands for Sundrop and Moondrop, I cut little pieces of floral wire, kind of arranged them, and then used UV resin for the first time ever to join them at one side. And then I kind of posed them after they were all together. It was a lot easier to pose them once they were all together. And then I used the UV resin again to attach them to the baked polymer bodies. UV resin is super cool. It's resin that is liquid until you put a UV light on it, and then the UV light cures it, and it cures pretty quickly. Epoxy resin usually takes a chunk of time to cure, and the UV resin cures really fast. The problem is you can't do it very thick. You have to make sure that it's in a mold where you can get light to every part of it. But man, it was fun. I'm kind of addicted now. Sam and I made a bunch of polymer clay balls out of colored polymer clay. Some of these actually fluoresced. So later when we were working under UV light, some of the colors actually glowed. The yellow one and the pink one and the red one and the blue one, I think, actually kind of fluoresced, and the green a teeny bit. We were using Sculpey colored clay and making teeny tiny balls so that they would sink.
And now we're painting.
Yay!
We're using acrylic paint because it's safe to use on polymer clay.
Base coat!
This is both sides of the castle, so I ended up doing Moondrop's side of the castle, painting it a little darker. I'm not sure I'm sold on the way that side looked, but it wasn't terrible. And there's my snowman. Calvin's snowman. Yeah.
I'm painting my mermaid.
Sam, I love the color that you chose for her hair.
It's my favorite color.
I'm painting Sundrop and Moondrop.
Yay! So yellow.
It's a good base coat. Ketchup and mustard. When I was making the bodies, originally I forgot to put their collars on, so those ended up having to be added later. And I made them out of paper and then coated them with a ton of UV resin. So
more UV resin.
Yeah, when you discover a new multi-useful tool. Now I don't have to be jealous of all the other crafters using UV resin all the time.
Because you used UV resin all the time.
Yeah. Now we just have to wait till next Christmas and get some epoxy resin and we'll be able to do anything.
Nah.
So this was sticking the little foam beads all over the clay mound, the speckled clay mound, and then coating the whole thing in UV resin so the foam beads would be nice and sealed in.
More UV resin.
More UV resin. It wasn't the intention to use it for this project specifically. No, yeah. But it made sense because it will protect them from the water. So that's good.
Feels like we're Evan and Caitlin.
Yeah. So here we have the final shots of the pieces before we put them into the globes.
They look so good.
I like how they all turn out. It's like, they look good.
Those were not words. They're delicious. They're very shiny. So they look like candy. They do.
The little ball pit balls look like nerds.
They kind of do, yeah. There's Sam's little mermaid. She's so beautiful. You did such a good job. She's way cuter than the one that came with the kit. I really love Calvin's creativity in Calvin and Hobbes. Bill Watterson is the best.
And there's Sundrop and Moondrop.
Assembled and all together. I was using a fidget spinner and a milk cap as a turntable for that shot. And this is what it looks like in the dark. Creepy Moondrop. Once we had everything sculpted and everything painted and everything coated in resin, then we set up for our jars. So we have some distilled water so it doesn't get funky. We've got all of our jars prepped. They're all clean. Stuck them upside down, poured in our glitter and our balls. And then we poured in a mixture of distilled water and glycerin. The glycerin helps to thicken the water so that everything falls a little slower. Don't think it's necessary, but it does help to make it more magical and flowy. We didn't have a lot of glycerin, so I'm not sure that what we added did a lot. Maybe it slowed it down a little bit. Sealed them up, topped them off so that they were really full, and then shoved everything in so that there wasn't any air in there, because I hate it when there's air bubbles blocking your view.
Yeah.
We got most of it out. And then they were all good to shaky, ready to go.
Shaky.
This one is Sam's. It's the ball-shaped one. It's my favorite. It was the easiest to use, easiest to fill, and I think in the end it looks the best.